Hi, guys. Good evening from my end. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm doing fine. Today, we're going to be discussing what the latest the latest parole program for Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Haitians, and Cubans. Um, these are for people who are currently nationals of these four countries: Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. As you guys may have already heard and already probably seen on my page and through the news media, the U.S. immigration, that's Biden, President Joe Biden, has implemented a program for for people who are nationals or citizens of these countries to be able to come into the U.S. in an orderly and safe manner. So every month they'll be allowing up to 30,000 people from these countries to come to the US and to be able to remain here for about 2 years, be able to work here for the next 2 years. Okay, so we're going to go through this process, what the process looks like, the details of what the CHNV process looks like, the Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuelan process to allow them to come into the US. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen with you guys shortly. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. My name is AK. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer. I have my law firm in Northern Virginia, but we represent immigrants throughout the United States and around the world, in all 50 states in the U.S. and around the world, concerning U.S. immigration law. With our U.S. immigration law matters, we can help you. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see. So this is the parole program for Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Cuba. Again, please note that this program is kind of modeling the United for Ukraine program, and also including these four countries, of course, based on certain happenings in their country. These people are coming here, they're coming here a lot, and so the US government felt like they needed to do kind of regulate them, their entry into the US, to prevent illegal migration, or um to just prevent them flooding the borders. Okay, so this is their way to kind of streamline the process and to give it some order. Okay. Yeah. So there was a similar program announced for Venezuelans last year. So it's just expanding on this program, as we mentioned. Now, please note that as part of the announcement, the Biden administration, they are also applying Title 42 to nationals of all these four countries who are actually entering at land ports of entries. And once you come, you're trying to come in without a parole document, then you're going to be removed, right? You're either going to be they do what is known as an expulsion or a turn back, depending on how you try to come into the US. If you are already in here, then they are going to do an expulsion. If you are not yet inside the US, you're just at the entry, then they'll do a turn back. Okay, that's Title 42 for you. It's still in operation. So this is the way to allow immigrants to come into the US in a very, very orderly manner. Now, let's talk about the parole program, the new parole program for nationals of these nations, or of these countries. The basics first. Now, the first one, these people, so if you are a Venezuelan, Nicaraguan, Haitian, or Cuban, you first of all need to have a sponsor or a supporter. Now, a supporter is someone, first of all, who is based in the United States. They're based in the US and they have status. Okay. So these people could be US citizens. The person can be a lawful permanent resident or a green card holder, or they could hold lawful status in the United States. The lawful status, they could be, they could hold TPS status or asylum, or they could be a parolee, or recipient of deferred action or deferred enforced departure. Those are the categories of people who could actually act as a supporter for this parole program for Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Haitians, and Cubans. Okay, these supporters of, financial supporters, they must pass a security and background vetting, and they also have to demonstrate that they have enough money to take care not only of themselves but of you as well, and that they need to agree to support you for the duration of your parole program. That's if you are based in any of these 4 countries that are covered under the parole program. Now, the process is that your supporter is going to fill out, that's the first step. They will fill out the form I-134A, which is an online version. There's no paper version for this process. Okay, so they'll fill out this form online, and again, they have to demonstrate that they have the financial wherewithal to sponsor, the people that they're trying, the beneficiaries of the application. Okay, so the beneficiary of the application would have to be from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, Cuba. Again, they always, the US, let me say that the law always defines what something means. Otherwise, it's left to, there are certain things you can't just say, oh, well, you should just be able to take care of them when they come. How should I be able to take care of them? If I have $50,000, does that demonstrate that I'll be able to take care of, a parolee or someone with under this program? So the law has defined how much you should have based on your household size. They're going to be using the I-864P poverty guidelines, the thresholds, right? In fact, just today, the HHS has just released the 2023 poverty guidelines. So the I-864P currently on the U.S.A.'s website is for 2022. We started using in March 1st, 2022. So that's going to change probably March in 2023. The guidelines will go up. Well, now, of course, things are more expensive. So the poverty guidelines have actually increased to reflect the increment in the inflation, or the way prices have gone up. It's reflecting all of that. So the sponsor needs to make sure that they can sponsor the beneficiaries that they are going to be, stating that they'll sponsor. Now, let me pull up the I-864P. Of course, when it comes to these type of processes, the I-134 is going to be used instead of the form I-864, right? But the guidelines, we kind of still will go with the I-864, even though the guidelines are not as strict as for I-864. In order to support, normally you should be making 125% above the federal poverty guideline for your household size. So if you have a household size of 2 as a sponsor, and you're a civilian, that's you're not in active duty, then you should be making about $22,000, $887 a year. Okay, so that's just a rough guideline. So the supporter should be earning enough money to be able to take care of them, the families, as well as the intending beneficiary. A supporter may also support more than one beneficiary. All they need to be able to show is that they actually have the wherewithal, or they have the means to sponsor an additional person. Okay, now let me scroll down. Looks like okay, perfect. I think I've scrolled down now so you guys can see what's going on right there. Okay. Okay. The next thing is that one very important consideration. Supporters do not need to be related to the beneficiary. So if you are here in the US and it's even a friend who's in Venezuela, you can support that friend, a cousin. You don't have to be related to the person. But you have to explain the relationship. What is the relationship? Is that your fiance, your boyfriend, your whoever it is? You need to explain that relationship on the form I-134A, the online form. Now, multiple individuals can come together to become a supporter. Only one person will sign, but you can have, a conglomerate, or, maybe 2 people who will act as a sponsor for one person or for a group of people. If the supporter is an entity or an organization, an individual, so let's say it's a non-profit or a company, maybe the CEO or whoever the company designates will sign on behalf of the organization. Now, that's for the sponsor side. Let's move to the beneficiary eligibility. Who is a beneficiary? First of all, you have to be a national, of course, of Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, or Cuba, or you are their immediate family member and you are outside the United States. So you are either from these countries, you're a national, or you are an immediate family member. Now, immediate family members in this process has been defined for us by U.S. immigration, right? So the first thing is that you should be the spouse or common law partner of a national of a CHNV country: Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela. You guys know who a spouse is. You're married to the person. Common law partner, you've been living with the person for so long that you're deemed to be the person's spouse and it's recognized as a common law partnership in your country. Then the next thing is that, so we're defining who an immediate family member is for the process. Secondly, unmarried children who are under the age of 21, those are also, immediate family members for the process, those who are eligible beneficiaries for this process. Please note that if a child is under 18, they have to travel, of course, with a parent or legal guardian in order to use this process. So you cannot file for a child who's 16 by themselves. They have to have another parent or legal guardian who's also a beneficiary of this program. Then they're going to be traveling together. Now, the eligible lead beneficiary cannot have dual citizenship, permanent residency, or hold refugee status in a country other than a CHNV country. Okay, so please take note, if you're trying to come in on this program, you cannot have dual citizenship, permanent residency, or be hold refugee status in a country other than so if you hold refugee status in Germany, you are not eligible, right? And you cannot have dual citizenship other than you cannot have dual citizenship. So if let's say you are from Cuba and then you are Cuban and you're also Swiss, then why are you applying for this process? It means that you have the opportunity to go to Switzerland. So that's what they mean. You cannot have these things: dual citizenship, permanent residency, or hold refugee in a country other than a CHNV country. Okay. Please note that the requirement doesn't apply to immediate family members of an eligible CHNV national who they're traveling with. So this requirement will not apply to the immediate family members who become eligible as a result of, the main beneficiary's eligibility. Okay, so if let's say the main beneficiary is a citizen of just Cuba, that's fine. If his wife is a citizen of Cuba and Swiss, then it doesn't apply to them. They can still go through this process because the derivative or the immediate family member of the main beneficiary, even though they have dual citizenship, the main beneficiary is eligible because they're just Cubans. Okay, so I hope that explanation is clear. Again, the beneficiary also has to pass required national security and public safety vetting, and they must comply with all additional requirements, including vaccination requirements. They must demonstrate that the grant of the parole is warranted based on a significant public benefit or urgent humanitarian reason. Guys, let me scroll down. It looks like my screen is okay. Okay. All right. Now the next thing, let's move on. We don't have too much time. Yeah. So they must pass all those background checks. Then the next thing is that they must possess a passport valid for international travel, obviously, right? Because you're trying to come here, so you have to be able to travel. You should have a valid passport. Even infants need a passport. Yes, everybody. So a passport is like a nose. Everybody has their own nose. You can't borrow someone's nose, okay? So you make sure that every person has, even little babies, they should have their own passports that will identify them properly for the process. Then people keep asking us, oh, will the US government pay for a commercial flight to the US? No, you have to provide for your own commercial air travel. So you buy your own ticket to an airport. You cannot arrive at a land border with this type of process, with a parole document. Then, of course, the health requirements. Once the I-134A is confirmed, deemed sufficient. Remember, that's the form the supporter or the financial supporter will fill out. The USCIS will then send beneficiary an email. You'll set up an account. The beneficiary is the citizen of Nicaragua, Venezuela, Haiti, and Cuba. And they'll do attestations for vaccines, COVID-19. Yeah. So included in this process will be attestations for required vaccine. After you enter the US, you must attest to receiving a medical screening for TB, and that has to happen. That has to happen within 90 days of your arrival. Okay. So yeah, all the health checks and health processes have to be complied with. Now, the beneficiary is ineligible if there are these, four things that they are ineligible. First of all, if they are an unaccompanied child, you cannot, you are ineligible if you are 12 years old and you're trying to come in through parole and you don't have a mother or dad or legal guardian with you. Number two, you've been ordered removed from the US within the past 5 years, or you're subject to a bar based on a prior removal order. Okay, so if you have a bar, you are ineligible. Thirdly, you enter the US without authorization between ports of entry along the SWB since October 19, 2022. That's for Venezuelans, or January 9, 2023 for all the other CHNV countries. So that's for Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua. If you try to enter the US without authorization, from those dates, okay? um, that's the second reason for which you will be ineligible for this process. Now, the SWB is a southwest border. I just okay, yeah, that's the southwest border. So if you have entered the US without authorization using ports of entry along the southwest border, SWB, since October 19, 2022, if you're Venezuelan, and January 9, 2023 for all other countries, then you are ineligible. There's an exception. Individuals are still eligible if they cross without authorization after December 2022 and were permitted a single instance of voluntary departure pursuant to certain aspects of the statute. We won't go into all those details. You cross the Panama or Mexico border irregularly after October 19, 2022 for Venezuelans, January 9, 2023 for all other CHNV countries. If you cross the Panama or Mexico border irregularly, then you are also out of this game, unfortunately. Now, let's go again through the process. First of all, the supporter will fill out the form I-134A. I-134A, a separate one is needed for each beneficiary, including minors 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 2 months old. You need a separate one for them. Number two, the beneficiary will then receive an email from USCIS. Then they have to, of course, create an account. Number three, the beneficiary will receive instructions to submit information via USCIS and the CBP1 mobile application. Number four, or step four, now the beneficiary will receive notice of travel authorization. Please note that in between 3 and 4, we are not sure how long it's taking. The US government has refused to give timelines. All they said is that it's being processed fast. I think I have to, of course, scroll down. I'm sorry. I'm using another device here, so I keep leaving you guys behind. Let me see right here. Okay. Okay, right here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. am so, so sorry. Now, let me leave the screen from the beneficiary is ineligible so that you guys can see it along with me. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Now, step 4 is that the beneficiary will receive notice of travel authorization. Hooray! Then you have normally 90 days within which to come to the US. And then step 5, the beneficiary will arrive at an airport of entry and you're paroled in on a case by case basis. So you cannot enter through the land border. Guys, remember there's no filing fee for the process. If there's a request for evidence, which like you submit something, and the US government wants clarification, they'll send something known as an RFE, and it'll be issued through your case status on your online account, the beneficiary's online account. So you can check this by logging into your account. Now, the instructions for responding to the RFE will be on the My USA's account. Maximum of 5 documents in response to the RFE. And once you submit it, then the RFE portal will close and it will be submitted after that. And after that initial submission will be considered part of so once submitted, then the RFE portal closes, and submitted after that initial submission will be considered part of the RFE response. So all they mean is that once you submit the response to the RFE, the portal closes, and then your RFE response is part of the initial submission. Okay. So everything will be read as a whole. They'll review your case in totality. Now, the beneficiary will need to scan their passport and take a photo of themselves. Each beneficiary needs their own I-134A, as I've already mentioned. Okay. Okay, guys, so here are some things we need to discuss again. Please be clear that it's a new program. It just started in January. It may, number one, fill out quickly because, they're just looking for 30,000 people a month. So if you're interested in this process, please contact us. We can help you. Our contact is right at 802-780-0564. And again, there's the potential that the plans change very quickly. There's no guarantee of success, of course, because there's no guarantee of success, as you know, with any type of US immigration law case. The U.S.A keeps telling you, oh, discretion is on a case by case basis, approval is on a case by case basis. They will review and then let you know. So don't put your hopes all on this, but what we'll do is to help you make sure you are submitting the strongest possible case for yourself, make sure you're eligible, everything is fine. And again, they could just change rules for the game, right, at any time. So we keep our ears on the ground, making sure we're complying and working hand in hand with CBP, USCIS to make the process a very smooth one for you and other immigrants. Okay. All right, guys. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have benefited from this. So if you're, here in the US, you want to sponsor some Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Cubans, Haitians, reach out to us at 802-780-0564 or email us at hello@akpokulaw.com, akpokulaw.com. It's been a pleasure coming your way. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.